Hi guys! I'm Sandra and today we will unbox and assemble the new Creality Ender 3 V2. In this video, we will also give you several good tips to help you achieve excellent printing results. You want to know more? So stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back! Today we will unbox and assemble the new Creality Ender 3 V2. But before we start, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Also, if you want to help us make more cool videos, you can join our Patreon page or use any of the affiliate links posted below in the video description. So, let's start with the unboxing.
Hi guys, this is Rui. So, let's check what's inside the box. In the box, you can find a couple of 20 by 20 metal profiles, the display and display mount, parts for the spool holder, this is the left Z carriage, which includes several components, but we will check this in more detail later on. The print head, it comes already connected to the base. And the base of the printer. On the bottom foam, we have the power cord, a spatula, the right Z carriage, a bag with tools, a couple of more metal profiles, and inside the lead screw, the X-axis belt tensioner, a bag with lots of parts and screws, and finally the Z stepper motor. That's all that came inside the package. We asked Kitty, our cardboard box specialist, to investigate, and she confirmed that there are no more parts left in the box. Inside the bag with parts, we can find the X-axis belt, the side plastic covers, screws, the extruder knob, more screws, a filament sample, the Z end stop, more screws, pneumatic fittings and a spare nozzle, more screws, a memory card and card reader, and a couple of T-nuts. And this is the X-axis belt tensioner. Inside the bag, there's also a small screw. Inside the tools bag, we can find a needle to unclog the nozzle, Allen keys, a small screwdriver and a couple of wrenches, a wire cutter, and some zip ties. Also included is the user manual. The manual is very detailed and includes the assembly instructions and slicer settings. This is the left Z carriage and includes the extruder and extruder stepper motor, the lead screw nut, wheels, X-axis stepper motor, and X-axis end stop switch. And this is the display. It's a 4.3-inch color D-Win type screen mounted in a vertical orientation. It can be easily placed or removed from the mount. And here's the print head. This new V2 has a different print head enclosure design, but the hot end is the same as the Ender 3 or Ender 3 Pro. Also included is the sock for the heat block. The V2 comes with a tempered glass on top of the aluminum heat bed. The bed is wobbly, but it's normal, and we will fix that in a minute. On the left side we have the sticker with the specs, the memory card slot and the USB connector. At the right side we have a small compartment for storing things like tools, spare parts and so on. At the front of the Y-axis we have the Y-axis belt tensioner. And at the back we have the power supply hidden under the panel and also the main power connector and the on and off switch. One important thing you need to check is the input voltage selector. You need to slide this selector to the side according to your main voltage supply before turning on the printer. Okay, before starting the assembly, let's take a closer look at the electronics. To access the electronics, you first need to remove this top screw. Then turn the printer upside down and remove these 3 screws. Be careful when removing the cover panel. The cooling fan is attached to the panel. The board is the Creality 4.2.2, equipped with a fuse at the power input side and a 32-bit microcontroller at the right side. The drivers used in this board are TMC's 2208. This board also includes the BL Touch connector near the display connector. As usual, Creality does not crimp the wires with ferrules. Instead, they tin the wires with solder. So, this is the first thing we will have to do. Tin wires are not a good idea, so you will be safer with ferrules instead. Now, to check the power supply, you first need to cut this zip tie. Then, remove these 4 screws. Then, to open the panel, you need to remove these 3 screws. And here's the power supply. It's a 24 volt and 14.6 amp manual power supply. Okay, we have all the parts. Let's start the assembly. Take the 2 20x40 profiles and check the holes. One has a couple of holes along the length, while the other has a couple of holes near the edge. To secure them, you will need 4 M5x45 screws. The profile with the holes along the length will be installed on the right side, and the one with the holes near the edge will be installed on the left side. Turn the printer on its side and install the vertical profiles. Don't tighten the screws just yet. Remember not to tighten the screws just yet. you need to have both profiles a bit loose. Next, take both Z carriages. We will start by adjusting the eccentric nuts. Slide the right Z carriage on the right vertical profile and check the wheel's grip. In this case, the wheel's grip is too tight and the carriage does not fit. For the left carriage, the wheel's grip is on the loose side, making the carriage wobble a bit. To adjust the wheel's grip, get a wrench and turn the eccentric nut. Try to turn a bit more than what's needed at this point because it's easier to find the sweet spot this way. Now, push the carriage against the profile so that the two outer wheels are in contact with the profile and check the inner wheel. Turn the eccentric nut only until the inner wheel stops spinning freely. Do the same for the other carriage. Too loose will make the carriage wobble, and too tight will make the wheels deform and develop notches, which will cause print quality issues. Finding the sweet spot is very important. The same procedure applies to the bed wheels. For the bed, you have a couple of eccentric nuts on the right side. Now that we have the wheel's grip adjusted, we can assemble the X-axis gantry. For this step, you will need the 20 by 20 metal profile with the extra holes, the left carriage and the M4 by 16 screws. Locate the left side of the metal profile by the holes on it and place it on the carriage with the holes aligned. To secure it, you need to install the screws from the back side. The carriage has a couple of extra holes that you can use to insert the Allen key through. Make sure the screws are tight and that the carriage plate is parallel with the metal profile. For the next step, you need the belt and the X-axis belt tensioner. Start by disassembling the belt tensioner. Remove the blue knob and the idler from the casing. Take the belt and pass it around the X-axis stepper motor pulley. Next, take the print head and slide it on the profile. Get the belt tip and secure it on the left side of the X carriage. Take the other end of the belt and pass it over the belt tensioner bearing. Make sure that the head of the screw that secures the bearing is facing the back side. Secure the belt on the right side of the X carriage. Then align the right Z carriage plate with the metal profile holes. Use the remaining M4 by 16 screws to secure it. Take the belt tensioner casing and install it. Pay attention to its orientation. Place the blue knob and secure it with the second M4 by 16 screw. At the back, use the flathead screw that came with the belt tensioner. Again, confirm that the plate is parallel with the metal profile. Okay, now take the X gantry and slide it on the vertical profile. For the next step, you need a top metal profile and 4 M5x25 screws and spring washers. With the screw head sockets facing up, install the top profile. Don't fully tighten the screws just yet. Take a square and confirm the distance between the vertical profiles at the top and at the bottom. Also check that both vertical beams are perfectly squared between the frame and between each other. Now, tighten the screws from the top profile and the screws from the vertical beams at the bottom. And when done, confirm the squareness one more time just in case. Also, move the X gantry up and down to confirm that everything is okay and that the gantry moves correctly and freely. Next, we will assemble the Z stepper motor and lead screw. For this, you will need a couple M4x18 screws. Place the stepper motor at the back of the left vertical beam and secure it with the 2 screws. Take a closer look at the squareness of the stepper motor when tightening these screws. If you see the motor lose the squareness when tightening the screws, it means something is wrong and you need to address this before moving to the next step. One thing you can try is to loosen the top screws that secure the stepper motor mount first. Then, tighten the screws that secure the motor to the beam and retighten the top screws at the end. In our case, that was enough to fix the issue and keep the motor squared with the frame. If in your case this does not help, then you need to add shims between the vertical beam and the plastic piece. The shims should only have the necessary thickness to square the stepper motor, not more than that. Next, get the lead screw and insert it in. With the lead screw in the coupling, tighten the coupling set screw. The stepper motor should be centered with the vertical beam, and the lead screw should be parallel with the vertical beam. When viewed from the side, the lead screw must also be parallel with the vertical beam. If not, you need to make it parallel. Most of the times, the fix is to add shims between the plastic piece and the vertical beam. If you already added some shims to fix the squareness of the stepper motor, you need to add some more to fix the lead screw alignment. Before moving to the next step, don't forget to check and adjust the wheel's grip of the X-axis carriage as well, using the same procedure used for the other carriages. The eccentric nut of the X carriage is located on the bottom wheel. Now, let's install the display. Start by loosening the T-nuts and align them with the profile slots. Place the display mount and tighten the screws. Connect the flat cable to the display and install it on the mount. To do that, just place it over the mount and slide down. Next is the Z end stop. Align the T-nuts, place it on the side profile and slide it down until it touches the horizontal profile. Next, you will need one of the pneumatic fittings and one of the blue locks. install the fitting on the extruder and then insert the PTFE tube in the fitting. Pull the fitting ring out and place the blue lock on it. The V2 comes with the knob for the extruder. To install it, just align it with the motor shaft and insert it. The knob might feel a bit loose, but that way it will be easier to take out if needed. The next step is the spool holder. So, take the spool holder parts, the bag with T-nuts, and the two M5x8 screws. Place the screws and T-nuts first on the metal piece. Then, take the ring out, install the metal piece and secure it with the ring. Next, install the spool holder on the top profile and at the left side. The cables have small yellow tags on them, so it's easy to identify each one. Connect the extruder stepper motor, the X-axis stepper motor, the X-axis Endstop switch. Here you can use an Allen key to push the connector in. Connect the Z stepper motor. Make sure this cable does not reach the table so it won't get caught when printing. And connect the Z Endstop. The cables from the print head can be secured on the extruder. These two plastic pieces are installed at the sides of the top profile. Last but not least, connect the power cord. Okay, the assembly is now complete, but before we can start printing stuff, we need to do a few calibrations. One of them is the belt tension. Turn the blue knob clockwise to increase the tension, or anti-clockwise to reduce the tension. Always move the axis manually to check if the axis is moving freely or it's hard to move. A belt too loose will skip teeth or create backlash, and too tight will make the belt wear more quickly and the motor might overheat. Both cases will have an impact on your print quality, so try to find a sweet spot which is tight enough so there's no slack. So, turn the printer on and wait for it to boot up. The menus are very simple. You have Print, where you select the model you want to print from the memory card. Then you have Prepare, and inside you can move each axis, disable the stepper motors, run the home sequence, set the home offsets, preheat the bed and nozzle for PLA or ABS, cool down, and the language selection. In Control and inside Temperatures, you can heat up the nozzle and the bed, turn on and off the layer cooling fan, and change the PLA and ABS preheat settings. In Motion, you can change the settings for the max speed, max acceleration, max corner, which is the same as jerk, and transmission rate, which is the same as steps per millimeter. Then you can store the settings, read the saved settings, or restore the factory settings. And in Info, you can check which firmware version is currently installed. Now, move the print head to the right corner and manually lower the Z by rotating the coupling until the Z Endstop switch is activated. You can hear the click sound when it's triggered. If the nozzle touches the glass before the end stop is triggered, rotate the bed knobs to compress the springs and lower the bed. With the end stop triggered, adjust the knob until the nozzle almost touches the glass. If you feel that the knobs are too loose, then you need to compress the springs a bit more. On this machine, you cannot lower the bed too much for two reasons. First, because of the strain relief at the back, and second, because of the Y-axis stepper motor. If you lower the bed too much, it will hit the stepper motor and damage the thermistor wire. So be careful and take these 2 points into account. You will probably need to lower the Z end stop as well, but the plastic piece has a small stop that prevents any adjustments below this point. So take it out and cut that small piece. Start by heating up the bed up to 60 degrees C. Move the print head and bed around to make sure that the nozzle does not touch the glass on the 4 corners, and run the home sequence. Use a 0.1 mm thick piece of paper and using the knobs, adjust the height until you feel the nozzle touch the paper. Do this for every corner and repeat as many times as needed until the glass is perfectly leveled. Okay, the machine is ready for the first print. You can insert the memory card and run a few test prints.
And what about the test prints and the review?
Don't miss the next video where we will show you the test results and the review of the printer.
Nice, I can't wait.
If you want to learn more about adjusting the eccentric nuts and the manual bed leveling, you can check these videos. Also, if you need to update the firmware on the V2, you can check our detailed tutorial. All the links are in the video description. We will see you guys next time. Bye!